Absolutely massive week inside of Baton Rouge as LSU is going to take on Ole Miss. Brother, it's Monday and I got chills. I'm ready to go. I hope that you are as well. A massive week of coverage will be here on AYS. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button, notification bell, and wherever you listen to podcasts this week, make sure you are listening because it's going to be a massive week. Look, I'm going to say something here tonight or today. I know we're not live at 7 like we normally do. I'm assuming that most of you want to watch the Kansas City Chiefs along with the Taylor Swifties. Watch them get their asses beat tonight by our New Orleans Saints. Nevertheless, I think this weekend is a program-defining game. Yeah, I said it. I'm sitting on the edge of my comfy chair here. It is a program-defining game. Where are you under Brian Kelly in year 3? We'll talk about that here tonight. We'll break down the game and preview the game. Obviously, LSU didn't have a game this weekend. They were on a bye. Much needed. Much needed. Did you see what happened this weekend? Down goes Alabama. Down goes Tennessee. Well, actually, I told you there's a very strong possibility that one might happen. And, well, it did. That's why you need to be watching us over at AYS Sports/SEC on YouTube. You can only find that content on YouTube, man. You need to get over there and subscribe if you haven't so already. But a lot of teams went down. Lots of teams went down this weekend. I don't know who sung this song, but only thing that I could think in my mind, it's going down, down in an early round. Sugar, we're going down, swinging. That's Alabama versus Vandy this weekend. They didn't have a pulse on defense. So we recapped and talked about that game. Like we mentioned on Thursday, and so many of you, when we clipped and put this on YouTube, are you a contender? Guys, what do you think now? What do you think now? Ole Miss struggles again with South Carolina. What do you believe about your team now? Because I'm going to tell you, you have the ability to be special if you want to be. Let's go whip their ass. Let's go. All right. So we'll do that. Brian Kelly meets with the media. We'll talk about 4 key points that he makes outside of injuries. I'm not wasting my time. I've told you what I feel about that. I think CJ, well, I told you if you were on the forum. If you're on the forum, you know specifically what I believe about what's happening with Chris Hilton and what's happening with CJ Daniels. I told you before it was broken on any platform or anything. That's why you need to be on there, ayssnetwork.com/forum. I think you're banged up a receiver. The good thing is, so are they. So we'll talk about 4 key points that Brian Kelly mentioned in his press conference today. My man was looking dapper. Got to give him that. And then Carter Bryant, who joins us every Monday, will be joining us at 5:30. Yes, I apologize that we are not live at our current time at 7 p.m. I know that it really much inconveniences everybody, but I didn't want to go live during that portion. So anyway, Dane Bergeron right off the bat says, "Good evening, Blake. Nice hat." Well, this hat, Dane, is from our good friends over at University Traditions. Now, I found these guys on Twitter, and the hats that they put out are chef's kiss. Look at this hat. Look at this thing. Now, I'm just going to throw this out there. Your boy's going to be out and about Friday night in BR, and this thing's going to be on. So, you know where your boy's going to be. I ain't going to be too hard to find. If you know me well enough, and we've done this 119 episodes, if you know your boy well enough, you know exactly where he's going to be. The place starts with a P. Not get your minds out the gutter. Some of you, get your minds out the gutter. And we might go over to a little bar right down the road from it. So I'm just saying. But yes, anyway, our good friends over at University of Traditions, you can find them over on Twitter at UNIV, so short for University, Traditions, at UNIV Traditions. The hat's clean, man. Ooh-wee. Sugar baby now. I am Alex 129 with a $2 super chat right out the gate. Says real blankety blank rivalry between BK and Lane. LSU needs this. Listen to me. I was going to do this in my opening monologue, but we'll do it here. I think Saturday is going to be a program-defining game for LSU and under the Brian Kelly era and regime. Lock the gates, lock the doors. Death Valley, Saturday night. If you win, you are in prime contention for being in the 12-team playoff. Guys, everything comes down. I'm telling you, you think I'm crazy. See, I have the ability, the Lord, the great Lord up above, in the name of the Father and the Son and the Holy Ghost, has given me the ability of foresight. Guys, if you win this game, then you have another primetime game on the road at night, Arkansas. Where do you stand? I'm telling you, I'm going to say it all week. It's a program-defining game or midway through the season. You have a team that's in the top 10. Blake, Ole Miss isn't as scary as they once were. Well, a lot of you in the comments constantly come after me and say, well, our secondary sucks. Well, you're about to find out. This is a rivalry game, whether Ole Miss or we want to admit it. It's the Magnolia Bowl. Last year, they beat you, and probably they shouldn't have. It's time to lock the gates. Death Valley at night. The place is going to shake. I'm telling you, bro, I got chill bumps. It's Monday at 5:07 p.m. Central Standard Time. Gotta win it. Gotta win it. Look who it is. Chris Phillips from SEC Unfiltered. Yeah, see, primetime game, man. Chris and S from SEC Unfiltered is going to be in the building. He's going to be in the building. So, me and Chris are going to be out together on Friday night. You know where your boy is going to be. Come take a photo with Chris. Don't take a photo with me. He's more high profile than I am anyway. All right. Got a couple of people. Michael Moore says, Shreveport, Louisiana, having to watch from work in the 318. Yes, where is everybody watching from tonight? David Woodard, 318. See, I tell you, man, 318, they love you, boy. He says 318 and still thinking about Bama losing to Vandy on Monday. It was awesome weekend of football. Yes, it was. I will say this. They ain't burning. Look, you can have the take and love and enjoy as a fan a team that you went up against for more than a decade. Let's call it what it is, 2 decades. LSU and Alabama for 2 decades was the ultimate SEC rivalry. No matter if anybody wants to admit it or not, it was. Here's the thing. I know Vandy is Vandy. Vandy's not the Vandy that you know, though. They're just not. Not with Diego Pavia. Not with Clark Lee. This is more of a James Franklin type of Vandy than it is a Vandy. You can't play around with them. And I'm going to tell you, LSU fans, you better not play around with them. And here's the thing that I want to mention that nobody is going to mention on their national shows. I did this last night on ours, but nevertheless, there were 2 big upsets in college football this weekend. Vandy, obviously, over Alabama, and Mike Elko and Texas A&M beating Missouri. Where did both of those men come from? Where were they DCs at before they became head coaches? Oh, that's right. They had been under Brian Kelly as his DC. Tough, physical programs. Not saying that the Brian Kelly coaching tree has started to take over here, but anyway. Jamal says, no, Blake, I'm taking a photo with you and putting my hands on your hips. This ain't no Josh Pate episode. I love my guy, but there's only one woman, only one person on this earth that can put their hands on my hips. Only one person on this earth. My hips are sensitive. They're ticklish. All right. Let's get moving because we got lots to discuss. We got lots and lots and lots to discuss. Let's do this. I need to get over and take a break. We're going to come back, preview Ole Miss, LSU. Carter Bryant will join us about 5:30. So we got lots and lots to discuss. Before we do that, I need to talk about our good friends over at Cherry Bundy. Guys, I've mentioned to you this the last couple of weeks, or last 2 weeks at least. Guys, I have lost tons of weight over the last 7 months. One thing that you can use for recovery is our good friends over at Cherry Bundy. Look, natural products, no added sugar, tart cherries that have the highest antioxidants of any fruit or vegetable in the world. Look, it reduces soreness. It increases recovery. It helps your sleep, supports immunity health. 500 collegiate programs in the country use it. How about this? 66 of the 67 Power 4 teams in all of sports and college use Cherry Bundy. Go over to the website at cherrybundy.com or wherever your realtor is sold, Publix, Kroger, or on Amazon, cherrybundy.com. Let them know that your good friend Blake Ruffino sent you on by. All right. Let me take a quick break. We're going to come right back. We'll preview LSU Ole Miss next. Stay with us. BetOnline is the fastest and easiest way for you to wager on all of your favorite sports, contests, events with the first-to-market odds and lines. Find reviews for all the news for each league, including Major League Baseball, NFL, NBA, NHL, combat sports, college sports, esports, and even golf. BetOnline continues to be the top online resource for all of your sports information for live in-game betting, props, and futures. Head on over to BetOnline today and use your mobile device to join and make your first sports bet. Use our promo code BELIEVE50, that's BELIEVE50, BLEAV 50, to receive your 50% off welcome bonus on your first deposit. That's betonline.ag, betonline.ag.
He will sell your house and find you a new. Well, Tyler's the man, he's here for you. If you want to buy or sell, well, it's not too late. Dial 955-0008. Just call 955-0008. Y'all call Tyler, he'll shoot you straight.
Louisiana is unique. The food, the festivals, even the bugs. No, not mud bugs. Unwanted bugs like these. The ones you don't want crawling in your home or business. Trust the Shield from J&J Exterminating. We've been protecting Louisiana homes for over 50 years, earning the trust of our clients because we deliver what we promise. Protect your home from pests. Get the Shield from J&J Exterminating.
J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
J&J has protected Louisiana homes and businesses for over 60 years.
Call him today, make the pests go away. J&J Exterminating. Yeah.
All right. Let's get this thing rolling. We got tons and tons and tons that we have to get to here. No time to really waste. I'm trying to fix my... I have absolutely no idea what's going on here, but it's okay. Do us a favor, if you can hear us, give us the thumbs up. It's not showing or registering on my side that you can, but do us a favor, give us a thumbs up in the chat if you can hear us. We'll greatly appreciate that. I'm pretty sure that you can, but it's just not showing up on our side that you can. So just do us a favor and hit the like and share if you don't, or hit the thumbs up button if you don't mind. All right. Let's see. Yeah, you can. Okay. Good. It's showing up on our side that you can't hear us, and we're trying to make sure that you can. Trying to make sure that you can. All right, there we go. It's on our side, guys. All right. Sorry for the technical difficulties there. We greatly apologize. Do us a favor, hit the like and share if you don't mind. We would greatly appreciate that too. To all those groups on Facebook, wherever you listen to podcasts, please subscribe. LSU and Ole Miss square off this weekend in what honestly is the premier matchup in the SEC this weekend, and it's not remotely close. I don't like using that verbiage and saying that, but you have a top 12 game inside Tiger Stadium at 6:30 at night in that place. Listen, I mentioned this earlier. I've talked about this earlier. In my humble opinion, I don't think that I am overreacting in saying this. I think that this is a program-defining game for LSU. Here's why. If you are able to find a way and win on Saturday, it will show multiple things. Number one, you are the playoff contender that you thought that you were. I know that you got a lot more games that you have to play and teams that you have to play against. Arkansas doesn't look as easy. Texas A&M doesn't look as easy. But this is the next hurdle to get you in that path to where you want to go. Guys, you're halfway through the season. I know some of you might not want to talk about it, but this is the reality and truth of where we're at in the season. You remember what happened last year. You remember going to Oxford and getting absolutely ran all over because your defense did not have a pulse. Excuse me. Your defense didn't have a game plan. Nobody on that defensive staff knew what they needed to do to stop Lane Kiffin. Now you have a much better staff. How does LSU react to coming off of a bye week, which, by the way, Brian Kelly has been pretty good at doing? Now, the last time he came off a bye week, they didn't spot Jalen Milroe, and things got really out of hand. I don't think that that's going to happen here because he has a better defensive staff. But in reference to this game versus Ole Miss being a program-defining win or game, listen, you're in year 3 under Brian Kelly. You got to find a way to win this one. Not just for revenge, not just for perception, because this is who LSU is. Ole Miss, of all teams, regardless if Lane Kiffin is there or not, does not walk their happy-go-lucky, hidey-tidy having ass up into Tiger Stadium and win. Doesn't happen. That is the program that you have established, and that is what you need to maintain. Now, let's look at the game for what it is, because it's a dogfight. I don't care what you believe or think that you've seen over the last 2 weeks. Quite honestly, you can't look at what you've seen holistically over the last 2 weeks of college football and say that it's not week by week. Let's look at our rivals just across a couple of states in Alabama. They beat Georgia, which most people thought would be a reigning national champion this year, 41-34. I know that Georgia came all the way back, but they found a way to win at home. Then they go on the road in Nashville and get beat. You have to, in this place, take every game seriously. There's no more negotiating NIL in the middle of the season. What are you about? Who are you about? There's nobody on this team right now other than maybe 3 guys, which they're not going to do this, that can go to anybody at LSU and say, listen, I need more money. That's not the time to worry about that. The time is for you to go out there and win now, because I promise you, if you win on Saturday, that's going to take care of itself. Make a big play. See what happens. You remember the old school stories of bags of cash, of fat stacks of cash being in lockers after big games. It happened at Bama. It happens at LSU. I'm sure it happened at A&M this week when billionaires were all over the place when they took down top 10 Missouri. I look at this game, and I look at Ole Miss. Guys, our defensive line is really good. I don't know where to start. You can start at Walter Nolan, who, guys, he is worth the money that that they paid for him. That young man has gone in for the first 6 weeks of the season and been remotely, to some extent, at times, unstoppable, especially on third downs. Guys, he's the number 1 defensive tackle in the country in havoc rate on third down. They're the number 1 team in the country when it comes to rushing defense. Now, you could say, well, Blake, the first 4 games they played, and Brian Kelly even alluded to this some, and so did Lane Kiffin. The first 4 games that they played Dookie Cheek State, they played Rudy Putek, They played Bourbon Street Trashwater University. They played, I guess we could just call it Ass Cheek State. I mean, they played nobody. Then they got into conference, and game 1 against Kentucky, they lost. But the team that absolutely beat down Kentucky, they go to Columbia, does Ole Miss, and beats them. But here's the interesting thing, and something that we need to take care of. Offensively, they have struggled. I go back and watch last week's game and the game against Kentucky and say, man, outside of your defense generating turnovers, there have been moments and times that you can't score. South Carolina had 3 turnovers, 2 turnovers on down, and they fumbled a fumble ball by Robbie Ashford on a bad, missed a line handoff, I guess is what he was trying to do. I have no idea what he was technically trying to do. But 3 fumbles. By the way, Ole Miss was on their side of the field. Got 14 points off of it. Got another 3 points off of it. Other than the 17 points, they can only generate 1 more touchdown the entire other 55 minutes of the game. This defense is real, man. I think they got good linebackers with Chris Paul. I think their front 7 as a whole with Walter Nolan, with J.J. Pegues. Does Princely Yellen, the defensive end, come back? Or is it Simone Perkins that is going to be at the edge? Regardless of who it is, guys, they have dudes in their front 7. If this is the best unit, if your O-line is the best unit that you have, you're about to get tested. You 100% are about to get tested in what you do, not just in pass pro, but running the football, which is what you're going to have to do to beat this team. You're going to have to try to establish the run. What is the status of Caden Durham? We'll find out, I'm sure, on Wednesday. But offensively, Ole Miss has struggled. And I look at them the last 2 weeks. The biggest area of weakness for them has been on third down. Guys, against Kentucky, they were 1 for 10 on third down. Against South Carolina, they were 3 of 13. Blake Baker has been a menace on third down. Guys, they're top 50 in the country in third down conversion rate. They only give up 35% on first downs. How about this? Outside of 3rd and 6 plus, they've only given up 1 first down all season. So you have to be able to find a way to get them in non-manageable situations if you're this defense. Listen, I have confidence in you. Now the secondary, LSU secondary, scares me because I know what Lane is going to do. He's going to throw motions at you. He's going to throw RPOs at you. He's going to do whatever he can humanly possible to trick you, to scheme you up, and to give his playmakers the ball in space. You have to be disciplined. All week, you have to be up at football ops, knowing your assignment from start to finish. Guys, this is the biggest exam, in my humble opinion, this is the biggest exam under the Brian Kelly era. Guys, so what? You lost in year 2. Now, I hate it. You had Jaden Daniels, the Heisman Trophy winner, but guys, you were beyond on schedule last year offensively. Beyond that. You got to go in there and take it to their ass. And the way that you do that and how teams have done that, like Kentucky, I hear everybody saying, for what it's worth, that, man, Kentucky and South Carolina, you know how they kept the points down against Ole Miss? They kept the ball away from them. Well, you know how they kept the ball away from them? They got off the field on third down. Ole Miss is 4 of 23 the last 2 weeks on third down. Guys, that's 17.39% conversion rate. Lane has been, and Dart has been, underwhelming on third down. So don't tell me it's not possible. Don't tell me that you don't know your assignments or that you got confused. Know your assignments. Some of you are 5-year seniors. You got to know. You better know. You need to know. There's no more excuses, because when those doors are locked and those chin straps are buckled, it's time to knock them out. This is not a game anymore. This is serious. All that other Rudy Poo shit that you have been doing in missed assignments, do something different. The biggest advantage LSU has that we've seen is that they have not been, they, meaning Ole Miss, have not been able to complete things on third down. They have also not been able effectively the last couple of weeks when they've played somebody to run the football. You know, Ulysses Bennett IV, the law firm of Ulysses Bennett IV, he sounds like a general, Ulysses Bennett IV. Ole Miss is 24th in the country in rushing. Guys, 2 weeks ago, they were number 1 in the country. They fell 23 spots. Last week, they had 93 yards against South Carolina and then 92 yards against Kentucky. The only way that they got to 90-plus yards last year is that Jackson Dart had to damn near be their leading rusher. He had to have 8 scrambles for 44 yards. They have not, with their offensive line, been able to establish a running game. The part that which is ironic, the part of your defense that you thought in the beginning of the year might be a weakness has now somewhat become a little bit of a strength for you. Your front seven has to be big. I don't know if you have a better front seven than Kentucky. I don't know if you have a better front seven than South Carolina. But you got to generate pressure on Jackson Dart. You got to get to him, sack him, hit him, because he's shown, and I don't mean this in the wrong way, when he starts getting hit, he don't like it, and he will start backing down some. The blueprint is given to you. The reason South Carolina could not get anything going, number one, Shane Beamer's a buffoon. He's an idiot. Number two is mainly due to the fact they don't have a passing game. The things that they were trying to do offensively, South Carolina, was stupid. Guys, it was, I hate to say it like this, it was stupid. You're running an RPO. Guys, they ran an RPO tight end flat 17 times on Saturday. It's like you have other things that you can do now, which leads me to this. The biggest weakness that I think that could be in this game, I know that Ole Miss's O-line has struggled, but they have a glaring weakness. Their glaring weakness is the far boundary corner outside of Trey Amos. So the far boundary left corner historically is where it's been. Kyron Lacy. If Kyron Lacy is, will be, should be, whatever the verbiage or semantics that you want to use, if he is him, we're going to find out. I don't know if Trey Amos is going to shadow Kyron Lacy, and let's just say hypothetically he does. 2 former teammates of one another at ULL. Somebody's got to step up because you have it. You're talented. You're talented at wide receiver. What is the status of C.J. Daniels? You know, Brian Kelly today alluded to that C.J. Daniels might be available to go. I'm going to pump the brakes on that one. I'm not there yet. That Chris Hilton might be ready to go. They're practicing this week. Tap them air brakes. I don't know about that. Regardless of who it is, an upperclassman, a true freshman, you have a glaring weakness at the boundary. Guys, Kentucky utilized it. South Carolina, that did not have a pulse throwing the football, they utilized it. You're going to have to find a way with Garrett, which is your strength offensively. Let's call it what it is. Throwing the football around is your strength. Joe Sloan has got to attack that far left boundary. I want you to remember this because they're going to do it. And when they do it, I want you to remember of this show in this face, this ugly mug that you see right now and that you're listening to. That is their glaring weakness. They've rotated 5 different boundary corners on the far left boundary. Guys, they have an issue there. They thought that they had fixed it in the portal with going and getting a Ponchatoula kid from Michigan. That has not worked, or that didn't work. You got to attack them through the air on that boundary. Now, when I look at Ole Miss, I see a team that has the potential to be very good. to be very good. Guys, they have pieces where they can be good. Regardless of what you think, guys, they have allowed 7 points a game in total this year. They have allowed 10 points over really bad SEC offenses, I will give you. They've only allowed 10 points the last 2 games. That defense is good. It is fierce, but there is a chink in that armor that you can get on them. And you're going to have to establish the running game. Guys, if you're getting 3 or 4 yards a carry, I'm going to be happy. I'm going to be thrilled. The other blueprint is teams have been able to get after Jackson Dart. Here's another thing. Look, man, last week against South Carolina, the 2 weeks ago against Kentucky, Jackson Dart was under tons of pressure. I know it's interesting that you might not want to put this secondary in true man-on-man coverage. But Lane Kiffin spoke with their media today at Ole Miss, in which he said, listen, I don't know if he doesn't think that Trey Harris is going to be able to go. If that is true, and Trey Harris isn't there, I don't know if you don't go. I'm not saying that like this. I don't know if you don't go full engage 8 and just play man on man in the back end and let Jackson Dart in man on man coverage beat you. I know Juice Wells is very dangerous, and you got to take him serious. They do have other receivers, but that is their biggest weapon on offense. You got to make Jackson Dart uncomfortable. What you did a year ago does not work. It does not work. So, in closing in this preview, which we'll talk a lot about Ole Miss this week, they are banged up. You are banged up. But I think that you are the deeper team. I think you have more talent than them as an entire roster. How do they look at receiver with just Juice Wells? Now, they only threw the ball once in the second half, but you know what South Carolina and Kentucky did? Guys, Jackson Dart in both halves the last 2 weeks, the second half, he was below 50% completion percentage in both. Below. What did they do? They got pressure on him. Now, most of the times they got pressure on him with 4, and that is fair. And you're going to have to do that yourself. But it's not the Blake Baker way. It's not the Blake Baker style. And for what it's worth, I do believe that you can get home and get him down to the ground. So we'll see. But Ole Miss is number 1 in the country in run defense. They're a top 25 offense yet again. There's ways to beat them. There's ways to guys, to be real with you, you're a 3.5 point underdog right now on Bet Online. I cannot believe that. A 3.5 point underdog. I don't see it the same. And you could say, well, Blake, you're an LSU guy. You see it in a biased nature. I don't. They got a weakness in the far boundary. Their offensive line is dookie. At least they've shown to be dookie. They can't run the football effectively. Their D-line is really good. Guys, think about this. Their leading touchdown rusher right now is J.J. Pegues, a defensive tackle. And I swear to God, and I don't want J.J. Pegues to get injured, but I swear to God, if he gets in the game, he's going to get the football, or they're going to throw him the ball, or they're going to use him as a lead blocker and decoy you with him. There's only a couple things they could do. Hit that big man in his knees. I know he's light-footed, and that's what South Carolina tried to do. Hit him in his knees. Knock him out. Not literally. This ain't Bounty Gate, even though the Saints are playing at 7:15, whatever it is. Whatever it is. So they're going to do a lot of things to you, man. We'll see. All right. Let's get to it. Carter is joining us now. So let me get to a quick break. We'll come back. We'll preview this Ole Miss versus LSU game with him. Stay with us. Guys, you might know my good friend Carol Falls and all the great service that he provides over at State Farm. He is your good neighbor after all. But did you know State Farm has surprisingly great rates as well? Along with a great neighbor service, State Farm agent Carol Falls has surprisingly great rates for everyone inside the state of Louisiana. So call him today at 985-395-4300, 985-395-4300 for all of those surprisingly great rates on auto, home, and life insurance needs. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there, and individual premiums will vary by customer. All applicants subject to the State Farm underwriting requirements. Guys, I want to talk to you about our good friends over the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company. Are you facing tough times due to an injury from a car accident, navigating the complexities of divorce, or purchasing a new home? At the Drake Williams Law Firm and Drake Title Company, they understand the challenges you're going through, and they are here to help. The lawyer team of Ernie Drake III, Ryan J. Williams, and Summer Vignair, along with Morgan Daniels, have the experience and proven track record to give you that peace of mind. Give them a call today at 985-386-7600. That's 985-386-7600 to schedule a free consultation at their brand new office located in historic downtown Ponchatoula. They're also doing a special, the AYS special. If you're refinancing or closing on a home in Southeast Louisiana, request the Drake Title Company to handle your closing. If you mention Blake Ruffino and AYS, you're going to receive a $400 discount on title fees. Again, give them a call at 985-386-7600. Let them know that Blake Ruffino sent you on by. Carter, the power, Bryant. Good evening, good sir. How are you?
Oh man, look at that. The hat game is elite. Love to see it.
I'm ready for this week.
You should be.
I'm itching. I'm ready to go. Lock the doors. It's time to go. You're a playoff contender. Go act like it.
Blake, I am as well ready to go. It does not help that South Carolina and USC look like absolute ass this past weekend. But what I would also tell you is this is the beauty of the transfer portal era. All these teams, these bottom tier SEC teams, they all have good players now. And honestly, Blake, this will come off as a major, major level of disrespect, but Ole Miss was one of these bottom tier teams not too long ago, right? And
well, yes.
Yeah, but they don't recruit like the top tier teams. And you take a look at their defense because of the portal and because of some good coaching, their blue chip ratio is right up there with LSU's, if not higher, based on the 4 and 5 stars that they have on their defense right now. So the portal has raised the bottom of the SEC, and it's made the sport more exciting.
I'm going to push back on one thing about that. You ready? 2007.
Okay.
I mean, we got beat by the national champion got beat by two teams that they had no business getting beat by in the normal way of things. So here's my God's honest opinion. I think it's an excuse. I think we're trying to find a reason for a 2007 in today's society.
Oh, so you think it's just random?
I think about every decade or every decade and a half, this happens. And you know what, historically, when it happens, ironically, realignment.
Oh, so you think things
Well, think about it. 2007, 2012, and now. Okay.
Okay.
What did all three of those things happen? Big shifts in alignment in conferences. So I think that every time that there's massive shifts, this happens. You can't ignore 07. You can't ignore Carter. Missouri was in the SEC championship game in 2012.
Oh yeah, no, but
let's not act as if like these things didn't exist. Now the top was still the top, but let's not act, bro. Ohio State was getting beat by Purdue and then not getting into a playoff. Like every time that you have these things happening and going on, these kinds of situations happen, in my humble opinion.
Yeah, but Vanderbilt beat Alabama, Blake. Vanderbilt.
Well, the last time that realignment happened, and I get that it's Bama, okay, but it's not Saban's Bama. And I will remind you the last time the SEC had realignment, there was a guy by the name of James Franklin at Vandy that went 9-3. Actually, they went 10-3.
Yeah, he had two 9-win seasons.
He had two 9-win seasons at Vandy. So again, every time we want to look at like, oh, well, look at Vandy. And I'm thinking, well, we saw this the last time realignment happened with James Franklin.
Yeah, I now that you're making me rethink this, sure. But I really do think it's the portal. And I also think one thing that is a little bit understated, especially from Arkansas's vantage point, these COVID year guys, these year 6 guys are adults. I mean, Arkansas's got a lot of year 6 guys. And, you know, oftentimes you're going up against year 2, year 3 guys. I mean, that's a massive, massive, massive difference. And look, I also wanted to just show some love to Vandy, man. Goodness gracious. That made my whole weekend. I'm sorry. I love seeing Alabama lose. It's crazy.
I do too.
I've never seen players melt down quite like that either. And I
mean, LSU had a guard that, like, after the play, like, almost killed a man.
Yeah, what you're talking about?
Okay, so, yeah, I don't want to say that we have not seen something like that before.
No. Like you've seen stuff like this, but I'll also say this. One stat that blew my mind. Okay, like I was floored.
42 minutes of time of possession for Vandy.
Okay, no, but actually a deeper story, and this is something I brought up last night on my stream. LSU was the last time a home team beat Alabama, and they did not rush the field all the way back in 2010. So the last 8 times Bama has been beaten on the road, the teams have rushed the field, according to Michael Casagrande, the beat reporter. The Ruben Randall game where he had a really long touchdown in 2010. So I think LSU over the next couple of weeks. Let me ask you this. Honest question for the chat. If LSU beats Ole Miss this weekend, do the fans rush the field?
No.
You don't think so?
Why would you?
I mean, I wouldn't, but
if they rush the field, we're gonna look Rudy Poo. Don't rush the field.
I'll tell you this. If Arkansas beats LSU, they're going to rush.
Oh, well, of course. But that's not going to happen because Taylor Green's going to be out. We'll get to that next week. All right. Let's get to this Ole Miss game. Carter, when you look at Ole Miss and LSU in this matchup, how do you see it going down?
Yeah, so let's start with defensively for LSU. Brian Kelly talked about, the chaotic nature of the game last year. That was still, for any SEC team I've ever seen, I'm not just talking LSU, Blake, I'm just talking everything. That was the worst tackling performance. I'm not sure if we'll ever see a worse one than what LSU did in that game last year, and it cost them the game. It's just that simple. You look at how LSU scored plays, they really did more phenomenal, like drop in a bucket, Jaden Daniels, Malik Neighbors kind of plays, where Ole Miss made a lot of those kind of plays as well, Blake, but it made matters worse when you could not simply bring guys down. So a big thing for me, Blake, we know that Ole Miss is going to break off long freaking plays. It's inevitable. It's going to happen. Lane's going to do it. We know what LSU's personnel looks like defensively. What you cannot do is let them score touchdowns. You have to force this team to execute in the red zone, right? Take a look at the Kentucky game, right? When they forced Ole Miss to have to execute in the red zone, they made mistakes. But as you know, Blake, from watching that game on your SEC channel, congrats on that. They had a 4th down conversion where Trey Harris was able to score like a 40-yard touchdown. So one thing, as an LSU fan, if they break off a long run, a major difference is tackling them at the 10 or at the 5 or 15 or whatever, instead of allowing them to score, right? The Ulysses Bentley play comes back to mind. Some of those Trey Harris plays, a blown coverage on a Wade play. You cannot give them these walk-in touchdowns. If you force them to execute in the red zone, that could save you 4 points instead of a full 7, and that could very well be the difference.
I just think it's a completely different team, though. A completely different system. And Carter, I got to be real with you. They've had issues running the football. I mean, look, I know the score was what it was against South Carolina. It's a big win. It's a better win than what LSU had. against South Carolina. But think about it like this. Carter, outside of the 3 turnovers that South Carolina gave them on their side of the field, let's just be real. They got 7 points offensively after that because they had a turnover on downs, on a fake punt. You had a fumble by Robbie Ashford, and then you had another turnover on downs where Lenore Sellers completely ignored the wide open guy in front of his face, and he gets sacked on a 4th and 2. I mean, Carter, that's all that they did in the first half. That's how they built a lead. Outside of that, they don't score. Look, I'm going to be real with you. I know that LSU's defense is not as good as maybe Kentucky's or even South Carolina's for what it's worth. However, those offenses were also dookie. Okay, they were bad. And Carter, they couldn't, with all the possessions that they had, outside of those turnovers being generated, Carter, they're struggling to get to the 50. They're legitimately struggling. Why? Because outside of Trey Harris, I mean, Carter, I don't know if you listened to Lane today. He's probably not going to go.
Yeah, that was, I mean, they have force-fed him.
He didn't play in the end of the first half, and he didn't play in the entire second half. Juice Wells was the only guy that they were really going at. Listen now, all right, y'all going to keep saying this. Look, Lane Kiffin can scheme you up, and this defense can look bad. We all know that that's a situation. I can't also ignore that the last 2 weeks when they've needed touchdowns outside of the opening drive against Kentucky, Carter, they have looked bad. They have looked bad at running the football.
No, I'm with you on that. They've obviously lacked some talent there. The Logan Diggs acquisition is really blown up in their face.
Well, he's got a torn ACL.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like the injury.
Well, he's going to redshirt, and he's going to be back next year. That's why they took him.
Yeah. So I will also say this, okay? Juice Wells did fumble at the 1, though. So, I mean, that was a lucky play.
I'm not going to play this hypothetical game with you because here's the God's honest truth. But he did. Okay, look, hold on now.
You expect him to fumble at the 1 every single time?
Turnovers are turnovers.
Yeah, but you can't rely on them.
Auburn didn't correct. Okay, has Auburn corrected theirs? Has Auburn corrected anything that they're doing offensively? Okay,
well, that's Auburn. I mean, that's
okay. But what I'm saying is that that's a trend.
You're talking about Peyton Thorne versus like an actual good quarterback here.
Carter, I don't know if you know this, but Auburn's a top 25 total offense. They're 132nd in turnovers, but the truth is that they move the football on them.
But Auburn's only like that because they put 70 up on Alabama A&M, and then they put up a big total. And when you adjust that for Power 5, they're not as good as that offensively. Let me ask you this: are you skeptical of this Ole Miss offense? Are you?
Yes, highly.
So you think they're a lot more overvalued, and you're talking yourself into LSU having this bye week to prepare, home crowd stadium. We saw what that did for Arkansas this past week. We saw what that did for Vanderbilt. So you're a little bit more bullish on LSU defensively versus Ole Miss.
Well, here's what I think. Okay, LSU was 115th in total defense last year, and now they're in the top 50s. And everybody's like, oh, there's not a dramatic change. Carter, you gave up 20 points the last 2 times that you played. If I would have told you at any point last year that would happen, you would jizz your pants. And I'm going to have to cut that out, but you would have jizzed your pants if that would have happened.
Why do you got to cut that? Wait, why do you got to cut that out?
I don't. Well,
use that in. I mean, we can't.
That's what she said. But all I'm saying is, okay. all I am saying is that you're going to have to show me, okay, that they're going to. I think last year is last year. That's not this same team. Carter, we're not going to sit back and be passive. We're just not.
Let me ask you this. Is Ole Miss the best offense LSU has played up to this point?
Probably. I'm going to be real with you, though. I think that USC, it might be a little bit better because of the weaponry.
Yeah, I can hear USC being better.
I mean, like, and so that's my point of, Carter, think about that game. So I mean, you look at USC.
I did not know going into the segment that you would be talking me into this LSU defense playing.
Carter, they're going to give up. They're going to give up yards and they're going to give up points. The reason I'm bullish in them is because I have a different expectation for them. If they give up 20 points, LSU should better win this football game.
So
getting football to me, and I'll tell you why. Because if the offense is as good as and Garrett Nussmeier is as good as everybody is painting him out to be for me, okay, well then if you hold them under 20 points, you should win 34-20.
Yeah, I'll say this: the Trey Harris injury news is big, right? It's just big. I mean, it's Juice Wells hasn't, and yeah, he did fumble at the one, but he's not been as good as everyone thought he was going to be going into the season. I will also say this. I put Trey Harris on like the Brian Thomas, Malik Neighbors level of a talent. I mean, he's really been that good for them. And if he can't go, it's going to be a problem, right? It's going to be a lot more pre-scoring. They're tight end. It's going to be a lot more screens and trying to find things open. And what I'll also tell you, Blake, is Jackson Dart's Kentucky game was bad. It was bad.
And what did they do? They didn't even attempt to go to Juice Wells. Juice Wells got one target.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously Dart looked better versus South Carolina, but he's, I was asked this on my SEC show a little bit earlier, who's exceeded expectations this year, and Dart is definitely someone who's underperformed expectations up to this point. I mean,
well, I don't want to put it all on him because they haven't been effectively in running the football. Carter, think about this. Last week on a team that you were able to run on, okay, they didn't have Henry Parrish had 21 carries for 61 yards. Outside of the Dart scrambles, Carter, they don't have anybody the last 2 weeks that has over 4 yards a carry.
Yeah, they have the walk-on Matt Jones, who is just a guy basically. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm also one thing that does excite me defensively from LSU's vantage point. I understand it was just South Alabama, but that was the best linebacker game LSU has had in a while. From Greg Penn and Whit Weeks.
And because you get to play a real defense without a square peg in a round hole.
Yeah. And look,
and I'm not trying to call Perkins a square peg, but there comes up. Carter, if I would have told you that going into the Ole Miss game, that LSU would have jumped 75 spots from where they were statistically a year ago than where they were this part last year, you would have taken it. And again, are they good? Are they elite? No, I'm not going to put them there. But people are really going to have to start telling me about how them only giving up a little bit more than 100 yards rushing the last 2 weeks. I mean, Carter, UCLA ran on Oregon. They were, I know the points weren't there, but effectively they moved the football more on Oregon than they did you. I mean, like there comes a point where I'm like, huh?
Yeah, but and one more thing on Dart. I'm not saying Dart's bad, and I don't want anyone to say that I'm not saying that he's not someone that NFL teams are interested in, but I've just not really seen the step up like we've seen from some other quarterbacks. I'm also excited, Adrian saying throw at Trey Amos. Let me ask you this.
All right, this is going to be the last one before I let you go, but we'll get to the super chat here. It's Adrian Bailey, throw at Amos. He plays aggressive. This is what I said about him. I think that you can attack Amos. I'm not saying you can't complete things on him. Carter, they've used 5 other guys at the opposite boundary corner of Trey Amos, and everybody's attacked them. The problem has been, okay, Vandergriff can't do what Nuss can do.
Yes.
Others can't do what Nuss can do. Yes. I'm not saying stay away from Trey Amos. What I'm saying is that they believe that they have such a bad issue at the other boundary that is where they've used 5 different guys to try to fix it.
Yeah, one thing that's really hurt Ole Miss is Garrett Nussmeier is such a different level of thrower. Vandergrift's not a great thrower, and Sellers is just not where he needs to be as a thrower either. And Garrett's an elite thrower. And one area where Ole Miss is really good is pass rush. LSU's pass protection is fine up to this point, and Garrett's pressure to sack ratio numbers are really freaking good.
And it's not like that we don't have a sample size of them going up against Walter Nolan and Princely Human Yellen either.
Yeah.
Because they played them both last year.
Yeah. one guy to keep an eye out for, and this was a guy who really wrecked LSU's game plan a few years ago, was Chris Paul, their linebacker transfer from number 11. Very interesting blitzer. LSU also very familiar with him. That guy's been solid.
Ryan Kelly brought him up today.
Yeah,
he's the best defensive player.
Yeah, he's been really, really, really solid, and we just could not block him in that 2020. He was a big reason why we just couldn't get going offensively. But Blake, I'll be honest, I do like LSU's offensive matchup versus this defense. I do, because they've just not played a single thrower up to this point like Garrett Nussmeier. I mean, not many people could throw as good as Garrett Nussmeier, but I like Nuss's matchup here, especially with an extra week to prepare. So I'm really excited to see him go for it.
We'll see, man. I'm telling you. Look now, I'm not you. Last thing, I'll let you go. I swear to God.
No, bring it. I'm fine.
I think that this is the program-defining game for Brian Kelly. Where are you? Are you a middle-of-the-pack SEC program, or are you going to be a contender going into next week against Arkansas, then that week after A&M? Carter, there's a strong path that if they go 3-0 here, you're staring at playoff berth in the face.
Yeah, I will tell you, if they go 3-0 here, this will be as impressive of a 3-game stretch you will see. And I know none of these teams are top 5 teams. It's just how things square off here.
I agree, and A&M is a physical team, but Carter, you are better. I think you have the better staffs against all 3. I think you have the better talent. I think you have the best quarterback in all of them, because Taylor Green's not going to be there. I mean, and that's just the truth.
He's banged up.
He's got an MCL sprain. He's out.
Yeah. Man, I'll save this for next week. There is a crazy Brian Kelly stat that I shared.
9-1 after bye weeks.
Well, no, it's actually, I won't get into it because it takes a long time explaining it. Okay. I did it on the live stream, but I'll explain it on your show next week. If you want to see that stat, you can go to my channel and all that stuff.
Our LSU is where you can find him.
But one final thing, let me ask you. You got on me for my Connor Wigman opinion, and this guy looks amazing. Once again, 1-game sample.
How many touchdowns did he throw? How many touchdowns did he account for?
A lot. He drove him up and down the field.
No, he didn't. He had 0. He had 0 and 0.
Yeah.
By the way, he had multiple throws that Noah Thomas bailed him out of. You better go back and watch it.
No, I watched all of them.
Okay.
He was amazing. He
looked
good.
Carter the Power Bryant. We'll talk about kind of what.
You're telling me he did not. Did Noah Thomas make a few plays after the catch? Sure. Did he throw?
Carter, he threw an interception and Noah Thomas ripped it away from somebody.
That was a jump ball.
All right, I got to go. Ruffino and Joe show at 6. I will see you next week, good sir. Hey, Saints or Kansas City tonight?
Oh, Saints roll, baby. Who that nation? Let's go.
Heard him here. We'll see you, buddy. I appreciate it. We'll see y'all tomorrow, man. Y'all have a good one. Peace. Ruffino and Joe show. Go there now.